It's the Doscinco Project.
Money pouring in, clientele growing down.
With your host, Doscinco.
Let's go!
What up, everybody? You are now tuned into the Doscinco Project, where we talk about business, entertainment, motivation, and mindset. I have another special guest with us in the building today. He is the founder of a famous blog site in Philadelphia called waterice.com. A blog site that talks about everything Philly. Where to eat, where to go, what type of entertainment you want to have. Overall, it's been catching on. He has over 100,000 followers on social media, and he continues to blow up. He actually has a podcast network where they have podcast shows interviewing people like DJ Diamond Cuts and so much more. Everybody, please welcome Hector Nunez. How you doing today, sir?
What's going on, man?
Listen, so this is your first live podcast?
Yeah, it's my first. Like, only time I've been in one is actually with my team. Like,
okay.
Way back when, like when Lauren was podcasting, like I got on her podcast, and she ended up like just coming on board and doing. She's right now our podcast director for Water Ice. But as far as like anybody outside the group, this is the first time in studio podcasting.
That's what I'm talking, man. We gotta give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that you may see on my podcast is I like to interview the people behind the brands, you know. And you got a this brand is popping right now. It's called Water Ice. For anybody that don't know this logo, my man gave me a hoodie today. I'm excited. Okay, you have you have this famous logo. It's got over 100,000 followers. And I know a lot of my followers actually are on your site. They actually follow you. Because I actually I looked at the comparisons and I'm like, oh, I got quite a few people that follow you. So let's talk about it. How did Water Ice get started?
I mean, now that I get to expand, people always ask me all the time, and I always have to give the elevator pitch answer because there's not a lot of time. But there's a podcast, I have a little more time to dig a little deeper.
Absolutely.
But I always had an affinity for writing. Always loved writing, stuff like that. I remember like being young, buying the Source magazines.
Okay.
And like seeing the journalists when they used to write back in day magazines, they used to like write where you could like, feel you was in the room. They described like the smell of the room, the look of the room, the feel, the ambiance, and when you would read it and be like, damn, I feel like I'm there. Like they took the craft was so much, like more in depth back then.
Right.
So like I was like, damn, I wouldn't be like that. So like I ended up at Temple University. Went into like at the time it was journalism, public relations, advertising, JPRA.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, I'm gonna do this. So I took to public relations. So my first job out of college, I worked for a public relations agency, writing press releases, and I was, we had clients like the Pennsylvania Visitors Bureau.
Yep.
So not feel like the actual Pennsylvania SEPTA was on our account.
Okay.
So I was writing press releases and getting stuff published like straight out of college. Like I was like, I love writing, whatever. Then at the time I was like, I kind of like want more, see what else is out there. So I ended up leaving, jumping agency. Like I started doing stuff like marketing and then also project management for like search engine optimization, SEO like company. Then I started like putting all the pieces together. Like, damn, this is like, and this is before social media was really how. The Instagram, all that stuff. Like the blogs wasn't popping like that. There was no podcast. It was probably like 2000 at the time, like 12.
Okay.
13. It was like way, you know what I mean? So, and I was like, damn.
Instagram was just getting started.
It was
a few years infancy.
It wasn't how it is now. Like it was just like you just post a photo with a filter and that was it.
Yep.
It wasn't like how like it is now. Like influencers. It was no such thing.
And everything.
Nothing like that. And then I was working at an SEO company and I was like working on other people's websites and I was like, and I really wanted to write blogs and I feel like there was no place where I can go where I can get stuff that I like to look at. I had to go to like different websites to get a collective of things that I naturally like to read. And our generation, we're eclectic because like you might want to go to a Wu-Tang concert today. You might go to the symphony with your girl tomorrow.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? You might want to check in like a ballet. You might go to the Van Gogh art exhibit. You might go to underground hip hop like battle the next. So it's like I don't want to be put in a box. So I wanted to create a platform where like people like us can just kind of see different things going on and not have to go to a hip hop site to see hip hop content, this and that. And then also at the time there was no foodies and all these foodie like bloggers, how they were influencers. So I wanted to also showcase the food at the time, and so I wanted to put it all together. So I came up with Water Ice, but at the time I came up with the name because I was actually interning. There was a record company called Takedown Records.
Okay.
And it was out in Chinatown, and they had like a lot of like well-known rappers at the time, like Bugsy, Snake, Caution, all those guys. So like I was intern. There was a dude that worked there. He had a a company called Cheesesteak Media.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, that's dope because you know it's cheesesteak, you know it's Philly, you don't have to like whatever. So like, what else can I say that's like Philly centric? So I was like, oh, what else? And I put it out phonetically so it could be spelled out that way.
I love
yeah.
that.
So I was like, man, so it had to be like Philly centric because I didn't want to give a name like Premier like Philly Premier website because then people were going to be like, what was the name of your website again? But no one ever figured, oh, it's the Water Ice guy. So it stuck. It was branding, and he just went with it. And then I was printing out T-shirts, and the guy was like, do you have a tagline or anything like that? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, your scoop to everything Philly, and it's stuck, and it was like perfect. Yeah. So I was like, that's pretty much the gist of how like things got my origin story, as you could say.
That's awesome, man. Now, by any chance, did you trademark Water Ice?
Yeah. So like.
Oh, you did. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So it's trademarked as a media company.
Okay.
So we have that going on for us right now. So that's now that was like one of the first things I did. So it was like
nice.
So definitely everybody listening out there, get your paperwork straight.
Absolutely.
Get your, you know what I mean?
That's
so
it.
I guess if that's a gem I'll have to say is like, so like you alluded to, is like, you know, when you get stuff going, try to, especially your namesake, your trademark, protect your asset because that's you, that's your identity, that's your foundation, what you're gonna build off of. And if somebody takes your foundation, your whole house is gonna collapse. So.
Absolutely. You know, for those that don't understand, when you're creating a name for a company, the first thing you do, honestly, what I did too, was go on GoDaddy.com to see if the domain was there, right?
Yeah.
See if it was available. And if it is, then you start to do your research and find out. But Water Ice, it's synonymous like with cheesesteaks and everything else. Like that's part of our culture. So the fact that you were able to take that and brand it and then trademark it, that's gold right there. So that means you're the sole owner of that.
Yeah, so because at the time, you know, like when GoDaddy, you know, there's like .com, especially the .com era way back when. I don't know if your old enough to remember, but people were just buying up real estate like pizza.com, Philly.com, whatever, and they would just sit on it and somebody would come for it and then they'll just sell it.
Yep.
So I was lucky enough that I caught it in the early wave because had I probably waited, say if I wanted to start it like this time era, it would have already been gone. It would have been hell yeah.
So you got the name, you got the merch.
Yeah.
You started to develop the blog and you started to put content. Like what was the starting phases of it, and then when did it start to take some traction?
Yeah. So like it was just, at first it was just me. Completely just me. I was just like, I'm gonna do this on my own. I was working still full time.
Okay.
And I was just like, I need to like, I want to blog. I just it was my passion, so it wasn't like work to me. I'd come home, find things to do. And at the time, again, it was we launched officially in 2014. At the time, it's still a lot of like websites weren't as crazy developed. Like restaurants weren't really worrying about putting websites up at the time.
Right.
So to find events was a chore. Like it was all the time. At the time, Philly Tonight was a thing. That was the only thing going on, and that was strictly nightlife. But it was hard to find things that were going. So I had to really dig. I didn't really have any relationships with like public relations people, marketing people, promoters. It was just me. So I had to like spend time digging, finding content, see what's going on. So it was a labor of love. So I started like doing that, and then I started to see the trend that social media at the time. Maybe like a year or two later, that was like starting to do video formats, like IG started introducing short videos. Vine was a thing, things like that. And then my boy Jay the Gentleman, shout out to Jay the Gentleman. He was a director. He was a entertainment director for cruise ships. So he used to like host like parties. You go to a cruise ship, he'd be the guy getting everybody robbed.
Spirit of Philadelphia type thing?
No, it was like Carnival Cruises.
Oh, okay.
Like he was like the big boy joint. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like in the Caribbean, like he was like the big boy joint. So he got done. He got tired of that. He was like living, I think, in South Florida at the time. He was like, and he moved back to Philly. He was just like, man, I really want to get my portfolio going. That's the start. He see me doing. At the time I was doing interviews by myself. So like when the first, if you look at our YouTube, our first videos, it was just me interviewing. I'll set up the tripod, or my boy would be there, and I'll just interview with a wired mic.
Wow.
Talking to people
random people.
Like people like I like saw like my first interview was my boy Apollo, who's the rapper in Camden.
Okay.
And then my other boy from Temple, he had a Oodles and Noodles cookbook that went crazy popular at the time. So he like got all these recipes. It was called Oodles of Options, that it was just like different types of like recipes using oodles and noodles, and then like he even had like the jailhouse Chi joint in there, kind of like it went crazy at the time. He did really well. So I interviewed him. He went to Temple, Child Gate Bread, like the people that I knew. I've been Taiki, who was like a good artist here, like one artist. And then anyway, so Jay was like, I want to be on a video, so I got him. So we was like, bet. I mean, he's a lot more. I'm not great in front of the camera. He's perfect in front of the camera. I really want to be behind the scenes anyway. I don't have no desire. Like if you look at where I'm nowhere near. I'm never on the content.
Right.
I don't. It's just. So we started doing videos and things started taking off and everything for the first 7 years. It was completely free. We weren't getting paid to do nothing.
So for the first 7, you said 7 years?
Probably like the first 6 years.
So for the first 6 years,
Yeah.
you're grinding it out.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love,
Yeah.
all passion.
Yeah.
You're out there spending your time, your evenings, everything, right?
Yeah.
Now you were trying to drive traffic onto the social media account or to an actual website?
Social media. So
Okay.
I guess backtracking a little bit too. Like when I started doing videos, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't own a camera.
Right.
I didn't know anything about editing. I didn't know none of that stuff. So I had I actually was working marketing for a real estate company.
Okay.
And they had a camera, so I used to borrow their camera.
Yep.
And then do my interviews at night, bring it back to work.
Smart.
And then so until I was able to like maybe get a couple gigs or like work and save up to buy my own camera. But then I didn't know anything about editing, so I had to get into like YouTube tutorials.
Yep.
So I had to teach myself how to edit, do videos. So I had to spend time, delegate time. So like anybody that I guess like listening to, like if you're looking to get into something like a passion, or whatever, block out like 1 or 2 hours during your day just to study and learn a skill, because that's gonna pay for the long run. Because like I'm not to jump ahead, but that skill ultimately led me to do tours on concerts, work for like big brands, doing editing and video off of something I had no like thought of doing prior to this. I mean, wow. I just had to I had to learn whatever. But going back to your point, as far as driving traffic, I knew from the beginning that I needed to build an audience. Mm-hmm. And I was just focused on that. I just need to build a community, because I remember driving to work back in the day and it was like 96.5. And at the time they had this a group they used to name their listeners P1 because it's program 1 on your radio. Okay. It's probably before it. I'm really dating myself because you had a program radio. So P1s. And I learned at an early age that people want to be a part of something that's bigger than them. They want to feel that they're part of a community, right, and they buy into it. And then once they buy into like they're a part of a community and something like bigger than them, then you could do whatever you want. You can sell them whenever you want. You can get them to events whenever you need to get to events because they're part of your community. So it's like, I don't know, like they have like Beyonce Beehive or whatever, like say they brand it, so like those singles, whatever, like how it's you brand family. Fam. So like we wanted to build that community of followers. So I knew all I wanted to drive the followers. I wasn't worried about the money. I just knew if I get my followers up, then the sky's the limit from that. You know what I mean? So I knew at an early time I needed to get that fan base going.
When did it start to take off for you to the point where you like, I think this is something major now?
I think right around the pandemic.
Around the pandemic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like we were gone for a minute. I remember one time I was doing a video. I was with my man at Capelli Cigars, and there was a cigar like Old City or whatever, and I was doing something there. I forgot what project. We did a couple of stuff there. And he was looking at my Instagram. He's like, "Man, you guys should have way more followers than this." I probably had like 5,000 followers, something like it was decent, but it was not. I was just like, you're right. You know what I mean? I was trying everything, learning like all these different techniques, whatever. So I think around the pandemic, we probably were around 10,000. I think. And then obviously everybody was sitting home. Everybody was like more engaged. So like that was the time to take advantage. So obviously no one could go anywhere. Everybody's paying. Everybody, and like IG lives was popping off. Zooms were popping. So like that whole thing, it was like a perfect timing for us to really get in front of people with our content. People started sharing that stuff. So it was like a blessing in disguise for us in that aspect, and people were paying attention. But like if you look, we were doing that like 6 years prior. Everything we were doing now, we doing nothing different. We just getting more eyes on it.
It was the opportunity.
It was the opportunity. So just, like staying consistent, grinding. The money, I knew the money would come, the opportunities would come. I just gotta like make sure that the content's like quality content is consistently putting out. And so because I remember the first like month or so of the pandemic, I didn't post anything for like a month. I was just like, I don't know what to do. Right. I was like lost in the sauce. Like we were just getting into events, and we just was getting events popped off. We was getting sponsors, all types of stuff, and then everything was nobody knew what was going on. So I was just like in a funk, and I was like, F this, I'm gonna start. I'm like get on my grind, and I was just like, you know what? I took advantage of the opportunity and got the team together, and we just started like grind ever since, and it started taking off.
So with the company, right? With the media, you consider it a media company, right?
So
Okay.
like, yeah.
So what are the different branches of, or should I say, what's the different avenues of revenue that you get? So you mentioned sponsorships, you mentioned events, right?
Yeah.
What other things are you getting to raise some money or to make some money?
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess like my agency experience, we used to call them verticals.
Okay.
So like we have different verticals. So like obviously at the core base is our website, where it's just like things to do, and now that's what gets the traffic flowing. Whatever. Off of that, then it started branching off because our videos start getting better and better. That companies and restaurants will hire us. So like there's a lot of stuff that we like white label.
Okay.
So basically what that means is like when we do content, like our branding isn't on there. Like you won't even know we did it. We just do it for corporations and like that.
Wow. Okay.
Like I have a couple like businesses that I do videos for that they're not even based in Philly, nothing to do with Philly. They'll just fly me out, do stuff, things like that. So, and like local restaurants, I do their content. But it's just for them.
So a portion of your business is videography strictly for those clients that you have exclusive.
Yeah, so I do content for
Okay.
like video content. Like for instance, like I hooked up with my boy Freeway.
Yep.
And I got partnership with Rock Nation. So like
Nice.
we did the On the Run tour with Beyonce and Jay-Z. So I was on there. So like I was on Rock Nation payroll for a while, like doing in a contract, and then that led to me doing work with Motown. And that led to me doing work with other brands like Diageo, Citibank, all these places.
So I'm not gonna let that. I'm not. You mentioned a lot of names. You mentioned Motown,
Yeah.
Rock Nation, Beyonce. We're not gonna let that slide. We're going. Let's stick on that real quick, right? So with your partnership with Freeway,
Yeah.
you then connected with Rock Nation,
Correct.
right? And what do you mean that you were on? Were you on tour with them?
Yeah.
You were strictly doing their videography?
I was part of it. Like I was doing content because Free had a rollout.
Okay.
And then he was on the Run tour. So like they contacted me to do content. So like I'll send them like invoices, and they would like pay my invoices on a weekly basis.
Yep.
And I would do he would do press runs. So I had to like document all his press runs.
Okay.
Because they picked me because I'm Philly based. He's from Philly, and it's easier. They didn't even bring somebody in New York to keep coming down. But all his press runs were in New York anyway. So I had to go to New York with him. And like, every random stuff, like all the podcasts, like This Is 50, Breakfast Club, all that stuff. We all that stuff.
And you were behind the scenes,
Yeah.
making sure that he was getting all of that attention.
I was capturing all the content, so I was like
Wow.
recording like almost like a daily vlog type of vlogging
Yep.
type of thing. And then he went on a run tour, so we did like 4 or 5 cities on the East Coast. So it was
Okay.
like New York, Atlanta, Orlando, Miami, for us. So I did that with him. So like I was doing like the concert. He was on the DJ Khaled set. So DJ Khaled would have a set before Beyonce and Jay-Z, and he would have like multiple artists come out for a set, and Free was always on that lineup no matter what city he was in. But they would try to get local. So like in Atlanta it might have been like Neo, Ludacris, Monica, things like that, and in
Right.
Miami it'd be Miami artists. So but Free was consistently like on the bill. So I had to like capture all that content,
Okay.
send it to them, make sure it's cool, and then like post it. And then also and that led to like being published, and then Revolt reached out. So I was doing stuff for like when Meek got incarcerated, he
Right.
still did the turkey drive. So Revolt reached out like, hey, can you document the turkey drive?
Your name started to get around
Yeah.
circles, and
Yeah.
then they just started reaching out to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how it starts.
Yeah,
man.
so I mean, and again, that's all me just like taking time out to like learn this skill, because
Right.
like, I was just like I didn't know jack about editing, nothing.
You didn't go to school.
Nothing.
You didn't get a degree.
It wasn't even like because at the time we talk about, I'm a little older, so I was in school early 2000s in college, and I didn't, the videos wasn't a thing like that. There wasn't
Right.
like smartphones wasn't a thing. I was in like Nextel era, things like that. So it was like, so not all the
Boost Mobile, Nextel,
yeah.
yeah.
So when we think about videos, it wasn't even like, and social media wasn't like maybe like Black Planet or like MySpace and that era. Like it was just more
we used to have to go to the computer in order to get up. on
yeah,
social
you had
media.
to connect computer,
Right.
and it was more about just hooking up with people and things like that. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
about driving businesses. So so video wasn't even a thing. I thought, yeah,
It's crazy, man.
yeah, yes.
So so you're out there, you're in concerts, you're working with different celebrities and things of that sort. What did you learn along the way? Like, because obviously through the experience, I'm pretty sure you were around some big key players in the industry?
I mean, just step your game up.
Okay.
I mean, because you're around the best of the best. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I thought, you're pretty good. But then you're around other, like, videographers who's like, damn, or seeing nowhere, like, damn, my joint's trash. Right? That just made me want to get in the lab. It's like being, like, if you're balling, whatever, and you think you're good because you're the hometown cool kid, and you start going to AAU tournaments or whatever, and you start moving up the ladder, it's like, all right, I got these dudes is nice. You know, I thought I was nice. You know what I mean? But, like, yeah, so I was just looking at what other people was doing. I was just like, damn. I was like, so it just made me, like, open my eyes and ears up. Be like, yo, I can't rest on my laurels. I gotta, like, consistently grow. Like I learned to edit, but now how do I do this? How do I do this? Right. How do I incorporate this? So it's like I wanted to add more tools to my toolbox. So I was just like, all right, that's what it made me learn. Like, you gotta keep evolving, keep growing. Okay. If you stay stagnant, you're gonna get past real quick.
Now I know that you mentioned that you were working for multiple marketing agencies at the time, right? Mm-hmm. When did you soon realize Water Ice has grown legs? It's on the road now. It's time for me to quit my job. How was that transition like?
It was like taking that leap of faith. You know what I mean, I was obviously getting a steady check, which is cool.
Now, what does that look like? So we've all been programmed to work 9 to 5s. Nothing wrong with 9 to 5s, right?
Facts.
Your parents worked the 9 to 5. Most likely, the grandparents did the same thing. You were the eyeball out the family to say, you know what? It's time to go out on my own.
Yeah,
that's major.
It is because like you hit the nail on the head, because like we're conditioned to like be ever since we was a kid to be somewhere at a certain time. Like when you're in grade school, you go to, or like high school, you go to first period, second period, third period. Yep. In college, even though you get a loose structure, you still have classes you need to go. You always need to feel like you need to be somewhere at a certain time. At work, you just when you clock in, this is when you go to lunch, this is when you come back.
It's robotic,
whatever.
Very robotic.
So you throw all that out the window. So at the first time, it was kind of lost. Like, I feel like I need to be somewhere. I need to but then it's like, all right. But so it takes discipline and structure, because like you could get lost real quick. And then this is like, I left my job like 2016, so this is like before, like, now the information is a lot more prevalent. Everybody's on some like quit your job, be an entrepreneur, LLC gang, like that's major now. Everybody's teaching courses, all the the information is overload about how to do this. There was none of that. I mean, there was none of that there. This is like 2016. No one was on that wave. Wow. No, I mean, there was a couple people like whatever, but that wasn't being talked about like that. You know what I mean? Like people. So it was like I had to like try to learn and find things on my own, how to do certain things and move a certain way. And that, you know, like how salespeople say, like you eat what you kill. Yep. So, I mean, at the same time, so like it just made me have to grind harder. So I can't just like, sit down, like and then when you live in, and it was tough because when you live in invoice to invoice, like you learn real quick, people don't always pay their invoices on time. You're chasing 60,
people. 90 day.
Yeah, you get the nets and all that. But so it's like, or they might not even pay, or like, oh, whatever. So it's like you might be up 1 month and be real cool. Next month or 2 months, it might be dry. So you might get like, say 10 stacks, and all of a sudden you might not get nothing for like a while. Like, so you got to be like, learn to like, work that way. So it was tough, real hard. It was a hard like road in the beginning, and you know, as things started to pick up more and more, you know, and then it kind of like got easier. Yeah.
So I know we were touching base on the different revenue streams that you have. I know that you just started a network. I think it's Water Ice Radio.
All right, yeah. So that actually, we launched that actually 5 years ago. Okay. This is like pre-pandemic. We had a space in Center City. We had a office down in Walnut Street, which was like, it wasn't at WeWork. So it was across the street from WeWork, on Walnut Street near Broad, between Broad and 15th. Yep. So we had a dope studio. And at the time at one point we had like 5 or 6 podcasts under us. Oh wow. Yeah. So they would pay us, you know, a monthly fee, and then we would put them on the network, on our social channels, and we would promote them. Help them with sponsorships, things like that. So like we would produce, like record, edit edit videos, edit their audio, whatever. So it was just like turnkey. So they'll come in, the mics, everything will be set up. They'll do their thing, and they'll bounce. So we had like tons of guests. You know, I mean, this is before like now podcast is really like a thing now. I mean, at the time it was like, so a lot of people doing podcasts. So, and Lauren was doing podcasts before that. So I have to say, I think so. We're like, oh no, they're 7 years. They just turned 7 years yesterday. Matter of fact, it was the anniversary. So 7 years ago, they did a podcast. So you do the math. I'm terrible at math. So it was like whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It was quite so.
Yeah.
Quite
So
some
like,
time.
yeah. So we're podcasting. So Lauren was doing podcast 7 years. She came to us like 2 years after. So we launched World Ice Radio about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. How many employees do you currently have on your team?
We have 4 core members. So it's
Nice.
it's myself and Jay, who's my right hand, Lauren, who's the podcast director, and we also have Farrah, who's our producer and on-air host.
Okay.
So those are our core members when we move around. At the time when we had an office, we did have like interns and things like that, and people helping us set up because we'll have like things like green screen setups and things like that,
Right.
and whatever. So at the time, we did have like more people. We probably like maybe had like 4 interns at one point working at one time, whatever, and we would rotate them throughout. So,
how obviously you were managing yourself at one particular time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about managing now a team?
I look at it like we're structured is a little differently. Like I look at it almost like a record label.
Okay.
So I create a distribution, and people that are like with us, like Farrah, Lauren, and Jay, they have their own brands. Like Jay, the gentleman, is his own brand. Like he's like hosting, he's like whatever. Lauren, who does podcasting, Lauren Reed, she has her own brand, and Farrah, who's a host influencer, she has her own brand, and they get on Water Ice, what I do is I provide their content services for them. So when they do segments, I'm shooting their videos, I'm editing their videos, and it's helping me produce my content, and then it is creating raising their awareness and their profiles. So like it's almost like they're artists, the talent, and it's signed to me, and I'm just like a record executive.
I like that.
Like kind of like, all right, making sure what do you need to roll out your project. Like everybody has their project. Jay has something going on, like Lauren, and I make sure that each one of them has like at least one event that they're throwing to that they're spearheading themselves. So like, what do you need for your event? Like, how can I secure like an artist, whatever, for your event? What do you need? How can I get a space for your event? And I'm helping them get what they need to get to be successful. So I'm like supplying my talent with content and opportunities.
I love that, man. I love it. Let's talk about events, right? What types of events are you having in the city of Philadelphia?
Yeah, so again, like going back pre-pandemic, we were like really getting the event space. So we had a couple of things going on. We had like a game night that was going on. We just for this when this pandemic hit, we did it at the Fashion District right here.
Yeah.
So like in that big area, so we had a game night, and we had like it was like a live game show because like Jay does live game shows and things like that. And then Lauren was doing musical showcases with Soul in the City. And Farrah was working on a few events. Like we did like a rooftop brunch party at Sunset Social that she spearheaded and secured and things like that. So she like Farrah likes to do like more like the like day parties or kind of like more like social events. Lauren's really into the music scene. She likes to showcase artists, and Jay's like more entertainment aspect, like game show. Like so, I try to like cater to so like they spearhead those events. So like those are the types of events that we're starting to get back into. We're trying to get Lauren's right now working on bringing Soul in the City back, where she would like get like 3 R&B artists in the city and do like a showcase for them and like up and coming artists and so forth. Jay wants to get back on the live game shows in Philadelphia, things like that. So those are the things right now, like more like curated, smaller events.
Yep.
Because I'm really more about selling the experience, rather than I don't really know I don't need like a big party. Because people walk away from those smaller like experiences like more fulfilled, and like it's more engaging.
Right.
So like I like to do like the smaller events, and then eventually we can scale up. I mean, but we partner with a lot of people that do like bigger events. Like for instance, at one point, we were the official media sponsors for what was called Harry the Dog, which was it was Philly's biggest black tie party. Okay. So we would do like pre-event videos for them to get people hyped. We also did the end-event videos, the recaps. We did the red carpet videos, the official like recap videos, and we live streamed it for them. Yep. So we had live streaming capabilities. And then so we was like start to finish like helping them like create content for their event.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Who do you look to, or who would you like, case in point, right? If you want to play basketball, a lot of people want to be like Mike or LeBron, right?
Okay.
You with your media company, with Water Ice, who do you look up to in that realm where you're like, I want to get there one day?
I don't know, like particularly on our space, because I feel like we're such a unique space that no one's really like everybody's killing either they're a mediator doing one thing, like a suplex or a complex, whatever, and then somebody's doing events that's killing it one thing. I don't know if everybody, and then merch is another thing. I don't know if everybody's that's doing that 3-prong attack that's killing it officially, but there are a couple people that do inspire me, and it's like, dang. I guess first foremost, like locally, my boy Rashad Lambert, who's like, I don't know if you know who he is, but
who is he?
He's pretty major. So he has a consulting marketing company called Sporty Marketing, but he also was a part of Forbes 30 Under 30. And at one of the conferences, he noticed that a lot of the black and brown people were kind of like excluded, didn't feel like they fit in. So he created like meetings within the 30 and 30 conference.
Okay.
Forbes saw that and they were like, "Damn, you bring all these people together," and they actually gave him his own. It's called Forbes the Culture. That's under Forbes.
Wow.
And now he's the vice president at Forbes magazine. Like, so dope. Now he has these chapters like all over the country, like LA and all over the globe. They're like everywhere. So like whenever there's 30 under 30 conference, he has his own itinerary for Forbes the culture members, and then he'll like have people like he'll just go do things with them. And I actually now I do his content for him. So like one of the things we're working on now is in Tulsa, Oklahoma for Black Wall Street, where he organized a tour so people can come to Tulsa and do tours. So I was just out there like a month ago. I was out there before that too, but
that was inspiring. Huh?
Yeah, I was actually there for a year ago for the centennial, for the 100th anniversary of Black Wall Street. Yep. So I actually was going to wear the shirt today, but I had like a wardrobe malfunction, so I couldn't wear the shirt. But my boy, who he has a company called Greenwood Ave. So anyways, I like Rashad because he knows how to organize and get people and then get those partnerships with big brands, and I was inspiring. As far as marketing, visuals, and just like overall presentation, I don't think there's anyone I've ever seen that's better at it than this guy named Greg Una.
Okay.
It's in New York. I don't know if you know who he is.
I don't.
He's a jeweler. He started off called Mr. Floss, and I know about him because my old roommate was his best friend growing up in New York and growing up in Queens. Okay. And I saw him like he started working at his uncle's jewelry shop in New York, and he started doing crazy photos. And one of his photographer was actually Amari Lauren. She goes about Art Mori, who's here in Philly. She's a Philly-based artist, and they should do these photos where he'd be in the middle of the street, like on these crazy sets, and maybe a couch or like a Jurassic Park theme, and then shut down like a major street in New York, do photo shoots. But anyways, he blew up, and now he has his own brand, and like, his aesthetics, his presentation, everything is just like A1. I like. Damn, I always look at him like I don't think I've ever met a better creative genius that I've seen like from afar. Right. That was just, and I know him. I knew we have a very close mutual friend, but I never got to meet him. Okay. But like I always like admire from far, like Dan, like as far as branding, like he got into the apparel line, and like his campaigns are always Chris. Like I was like, awesome. Dang, he'd be like getting me like, dang, I gotta like. So like every time I feel like I need to step my game, I look for him for inspiration.
That's awesome. Yeah. Man. What are some key habits and routines that have attributed to your success? Because obviously, you have a lot of moving parts within your company. So what's taking you, what's allowing you to be successful in your industry?
I mean, consistency. You gotta, like, whether you're getting the views or not or whatever, like, not everything's gonna be a home run that you put out. Just staying consistent, staying motivated, and blocking your time. Time blocking is a big thing. Like if in the morning you want to do like certain things at a certain time. There's a lot of multitasking going on, but trying to focus on one task and be great at that. Kill that one task before you start putting too many balls in the air and juggling, and that's when you get sloppy. So just kind of like stay motivated, stay consistent, and then build good relationships. I think everything's relationship based. Like when you meet contacts, like we meet somebody like you might be at a function, you're like, hey, what's up? You exchange business cards. Right. Never hit people up and ask them that you need something. You know what I'm saying? Like never ask like, hey, I need something from you. Always offer something. Right. Always offer a service or whatever. Like, hey, I met you. If there's anything you need from me, let me know. And don't hit them up when you need something. They might maybe learn a birthday or maybe a holiday. Hey, it's Thanksgiving time. I hope you and your family's doing good. Just want to drop a line. That's it. Boom. Right. Just keep touching points to people that you feel like that could be benefit. Yeah, provide value. So it's like, and you can be there, and they and so don't always look for opportunities. Look how you can present yourself. So like I always like big relationship dude, like building relationships with people, and I never ask anybody for anything. But I'm sure if I needed something, it could happen.
Where do you see your company? everything that you said makes a lot of sense. In fact, Gary Vaynerchuk, right? A lot of people know him as Gary V.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he spoke about, when you build a relationship with someone, always consistently provide value.
Yeah.
So that way, when it's time for an ask, it's a lot easier for
Facts.
them to accept it, because you've done so much for them.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's
So,
facts.
so jumping in, right? As far as childhood, were you the first in your family to be an entrepreneur, jump out, leave the 9 to 5 and start your own company and go out?
For sure. Like, even to this day, my parents are like, what do you do again? I don't understand. You know what I mean? It's just like,
We just know you surviving.
yeah. We just know you never really asked for nothing. We're good, so you must be all right. But I was able, by a blessing, I was able to purchase my own house, things like that. So I was able to be like,
This is all off of an
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
You were
yeah.
able to purchase your own home
Yeah.
and everything else.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's like, but I knew, I guess, like the hot button topic is generational wealth building.
Yep.
So I knew that I had to like, and I just knew 9 to 5 wasn't for me, period, regardless. I mean,
Right.
I just the structure in my mind as a creative, I can't be like in a cubicle working other people's ideas. I feel like, and there's always a burning desire. Like, even if I fall flat in my face, at least I know I gave it my all. So that was just like a burning desire. And again, like, me being a little older, there was nobody preaching, be an entrepreneur. Like, you're programmed to be a good worker, go to school, get a degree, get a good job, retire, whatever. That was just like the doctrine. It was like
Systematic.
Yeah, it was like, and there was no one. And this is like YouTube was in infancy, so no one was on there preaching like, be an entrepreneur. This is how you do it. Like, now the tools are abundant. Like, anybody coming out is blessed because like it's just. And I guess that kind of leads me to the other point too. Like, I know that I'm not knocking nobody's hustle because that's how they make money. It's just a lot of people are selling these courses, like whatever. But if you're here listening and you may not have the means to like buy some of these courses, there's nothing no one's teaching this isn't available for free online.
Facts.
I mean, so anything you want to learn, whether it's real estate, finance, trading, stocks, whatever, it's all free online. Like, you don't really need to jump. People in courses might be able to teach it more efficiently.
Yep.
Maybe in a way that you can grasp it. But no, there's no information in this world that's not on YouTube.
Your best friend is YouTube and Google.com.
Yeah, and it used to be I forget the name of it. It was like an online service that they teach.
Ask Jeeves or something. Oh,
it was like courses they would have. Not Brenda. It was like a girl's name. I forgot the name, but it was like Linda.com or something like that. It was like they'll just every kind of like thing you could think of, they'll teach you like courses.
I mean, it's gotten to the point, honestly, and this is no knock at college universities and all that good stuff, because I went to Temple University as well.
Hey,
graduated.
TUMF.
But the fact that they have Masterclass, which is an app that you can learn from some of your top achievers, top performers around the entire globe, and it's $179 for the year, and then aside from that, even the paid content, Google, everything's free. YouTube, you learn videography, which therefore puts you in a space where you are now on tour with Freeway, doing the Beyonce concert, everything else, recording content, and now you apply that to your company. That's huge.
Yeah, now people maybe like stuff that I learned might package that up. I mean, actually they do package up because like, considering that the algorithm for Instagram, like being video, like in videography, and I follow like video pages, you like an ad will pop up like, learn to be a better how to price your videos, learn how to like and then this is like, those are all things that what I mean, that you could just learn yourself if you just like know the look. It just take time out.
Takes time. That's it.
Like turn off the House of Dragons.
Yep.
Take that time, 2 to 3 hours, whatever, on a Sunday night, and just watch videos.
That's it. That's so true. Everything that I've been able to do with the podcast, I've learned all off of YouTube and Google, and that's it.
Most times, and even if they don't teach you everything, you just learn while you go. Like, you just start. Doesn't matter how you start, just start it, and then you forget. I made so many mistakes and learned so much, like fell on my face so many times. Just like, but I just learn as I go. Like, I'm a lot more efficient at what I do now because of the trial error and the lack of information that was available for me at the time. But I mean, like, you just no better lesson than reality and like being involved. Yeah,
love it. What's your 3 to 5 year plan for Water Ice?
Obviously we want to get a new space.
Okay.
So we definitely need.
Where's your current space at now?
We don't have a space right now.
Oh, okay. So you guys are fully remote.
Yeah, because like we lost our space during the pandemic. We're releasing from someone, and then they lost their space, so we had to move out. And then this was still pandemic era, and there was still like mask mandates and like we didn't know what was like kind of, so like we weren't like, we were looking for a space, but then we were kind of put off like, what if we get a space and we're super regulated and people don't want to come out?
Right.
So now it's like, now it's starting to get more like back to like more normalized. So now we're like, all right, let's get back into looking. So within like that time frame, we would definitely want to already establish a space where we can, you know, like do our content and people can come interact with the brand. We can like do what we got to do. So that's like part of our biggest thing we want to do.
And you also got merch as well, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So you got, I know you wearing the hat.
Yeah.
We're gonna put this up there again. We got the hoodies, okay, because it's hoodie season. We got the hats. Yeah. Where can they find the merch?
Shop.waterice.com is our main store website. And then again, we have a lot of capsules on there that we launched, like different campaigns that, you know, people may have missed because they're like coming onto the brand now. So we're gonna kind of like reintroduce them. So that merch is something that we're gonna get back into and really push heavy, and kind of give that a good focus. Yeah.
Now with merch, right?
Yeah.
Are you designing these shirts, the hoodies yourself? Are you going out to like Fiverr.com or a local artist to design it for you? Like, what's the process in creating a merch line for your brand?
I create all the designs.
You do everything yourself?
I don't do the designs. I have the idea and I give it to. When I got that one, that was somebody that I knew that personally that was a graphic designer. I was like, I have this idea. Okay. Can you bring this to life? And he did it, and I was like, I love it. And then the idea of just like changing the flags of the bandana, it was just like, all right, let's just like get, you know, people can represent. So I was able to just do that. And the other stuff we have, like the water department hoodies, the salt pepper ketchup, which was popular. Those are all ideas that I had.
I learned about salt, pepper, ketchup from my mom when I was growing up.
Yeah.
She said always order cheesesteak, salt, pepper, ketchup, fried onions, pickles.
That's the basis. That's the base of every good order. Yeah.
Right. I remember doing that at Pat Steaks, man. I made a fool of myself, man. First time I go there, you know you supposed to order a steak whiz, with whiz or without, right? Or whiz with or what have you. I end up saying salt, pepper, ketchup, fried onions, pickles. They said this is the first time ordering, right? They said read the sign. I said, oh my bad, I had to take a step back. So. It is what it is.
They do too much over there. I mean, it ain't that deep. Like you go someplace like, I mean, I guess they do it for efficiency reasons because they get so many people, tourists, whatever. But if you go to like another spot, you know, that's really good cheesesteaks. So they know. They know the order. Lingo. Yeah, they know what's up.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's dive into your childhood again, right? Yeah. Where were you born?
I was actually born in Lancaster.
So you were born in Lancaster, right? So out of all. Do you mind me asking your ethnicity?
I'm actually half Puerto Rican, half Dominican.
Oh, wow. Okay, so half Puerto Rican, half Dominican, and Lancaster. Yeah. Please explain that. Because when I think of Lancaster, I'm thinking Amish.
Nah, I feel you. My dad actually was like born in, like, he was born in DR, was raised in the Bronx. He got in trouble. He was like in the streets a lot, and his mom moved him out there. My mom was born in Puerto Rico, and like there was like missionaries in Puerto Rico. Okay. That were like, you know, they getting people, you know, to convert, so like come work on our farms, whatever. So like a lot of Puerto Ricans migrated to Lancaster to work on Amish farms and things like that because they were big on agriculture. Okay. And then they started forming a city, and Lancaster actually has a huge Puerto Rican population. There's a Puerto Rican Day parade.
I would have never known.
Yeah, there's Puerto Rican restaurants. My high school was like large percentage was Puerto Rican. Like, wow. Yeah, there's like a lot of Latinos out there.
I would have never known, man. I thought it was strictly Amish out there.
Nah, it's like you ever know like Reading?
Yeah.
It's like Reading,
Allentown, stuff like that.
Same,
similar to that.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, your core, you go in there, you see a lot of like Puerto Ricans. Like, it's just because a lot of people from New York, because they come down because it's cheaper. Right. To live, like they pushed out whatever, and it's like, you know, so like there's a lot of like Puerto Ricans out there. And
then you transitioned to Philly. When did you transition?
So I came. I was like 17, something like that.
Oh, you were 17.
Something. I was like teenagers. I was like, so I came to college, came to Temple.
So was it, you know, like you coming to Philadelphia? How was it like a culture shock?
Not really. Okay. Cause like my dad moved to Florida, but my stepdad came. He actually it's funny because he has the same name as my dad, and he was actually from the Bronx too, right. And so he was actually a correction officer at Rikers. And so like it was weird because my mom was married to him, but he lived in New York in the Bronx, so we used to go on the weekends. Okay. So like I'll be in New York as a kid, you know what I mean, in New York City, and I was used to it. So like, you know, like,
So you just used
yeah,
to
I used to come back with my triple fat gooses before anybody knew what it was.
Right,
like all these like the styles and stuff like that. So
because New York get it first, then everybody else.
Especially at the time.
Right.
I mean, because it was no like eBay or whatever.
That's
like
true.
no online stores. You had to go in New York and get your stuff. So like people were like, what's that coat? And I remember having my French toast goose stolen and all that stuff. Like so, but anyways, I was in New York. I was in South Bronx, New York, as like, you know, 8, 9, 10 years, all the way up to like I was like 13, 14. So like coming in Philly wasn't that much of a shock because I was already like, but I saw it as opportunity because at the time, like I said, didn't have anything going on as far as business wise, like content creating was not a thing. Marketing was not really how it is now. It was just like all my friends either worked in like manual labor jobs, things like that, had kids early, settled down early. No one was really on that like corporate type of there was not the opportunity there, and then pay obviously wasn't how it is. So like I was like, I'm staying here, like the pay is good, opportunities are great, I mean, and it's not like New York is super oversaturated. Anything you want to do in New York, it's like saturated. Everybody's already 100 people
doing it. Right.
It's a lot easier to break in here, and the connections can be here. Networking is a lot easier here. Like you're one person away from connecting with
That's
that.
so true, man. That is so true. I connected with you through Josh Buchter. Yeah. Right? And that's how you and I connected.
Yes. And then so it's weird. So like I know you, like I know like Dave and Will here, like I know so it's just like, and then you just connect with people, and it's like, and then they, and like through you probably know somebody, one person like QB, whoever, like that's one like, and then they know like in New York is hard. They have like secretaries, and
that's so true.
And it's just like it's hard to like really break in. It's like a lot more gatekeeping over there, things like that. So it's just like it was like if you want to any industry you want to do in Philly, there's no excuse for you to not be able to break into. You can take it somewhere else and flourish, but it's so much easier to just break it in here.
In the world of content creation, right? Yeah. Obviously, you're doing a lot. You're successful at what you do. What is one major tip that you can give to someone that's looking to get into that realm and actually, take that leap of faith, so to speak? What's one piece of advice you would give?
To get into content creation?
Yeah, to get into content creation, and or better yet, somebody's already, doing podcasting, doing video content, but they're frustrated right now. They're at they feel like they're being blocked. What is something that can get them over that hump? I know I probably switched up that.
No, it's cool. To make sure it's something that you're passionate about. You know what I mean? Like if your heart's not in it, it's just gonna show in the work. I mean, it's gonna be half-assed and things like that. Make sure if that's what you really want to do. Like you could do content of anything. If you like plants and trees, you could just blog about agriculture, plants. There's an audience for everything. Don't try to do something that you're not passionate about. So find what subject matter you're passionate about, and go. You can branch out from there, but just kill that. I mean, because like you can make money just being the industry leader on like plants and whatever, and just be the influencer of plant and gardening, and people will pay you to like do trade shows and come here and do content. Advertisers will pay to be in front of your audience that may like do like plant food because you're a plant like influencer, so whoever, content creator. So like whatever industry it is, no matter what it is, just make sure that's what your passion is about. Like mine was like things to do, like Philadelphia, and also because I wanted to show Philly in a positive light. A lot of people laugh like, "Oh, Philly ain't nothing to do." Like, now Philly's a dope city. I love it with all my heart. I put my heart and soul into the city, and I wanted to showcase it for what it was. There's a lot more beauty in it than there's ugly.
Absolutely.
So it's like all the ugly stuff gets attention. So we want to make sure that everything we do on our website is positive. So we want to show positive things, and that's another thing. I wanted to control my narrative, because like, I'm not knocking anybody else, but there's a lot of other pages or whatever that show like people fighting or like all that other stuff, and it gains views and clicks, but we don't do any of that. So if you see anybody on a website, especially somebody black or brown, it's always in a positive light. They're an entrepreneur. They're doing something positive, whatever. Because I want to control that narrative. I don't want to have like showing us like a video of somebody fighting because it has views or somebody getting stabbed. And it's funny because they'll show like violence, and then the next post would be, "Oh, the city has so many murders. What are we gonna do about it?" Whatever. Like, you're contributing to the problem. You're controlling.
See, I'm gonna look at this camera right here. Y'all know how I like to look at these cameras, right? That's why I love Hector, and I'm gonna tell you why. Right? I'm on that same type of time. The thing is, we complain about the issues and the problems in Philadelphia or any metropolitan city in the United States, but yet we contribute to the problems. We complain about it, but then we contribute to the problems. And I love what you said, because on my channel, that's all I want to promote is positivity, and I want to show black and brown people and also white as well, showing the positive side of what they can possibly be, instead of the negativity, and instead of talking about, nonsense. It doesn't really help us at all move forward. It only contributes to the narratives that other people have about us.
Facts. I mean, yeah. So like, I want to again it's all about controlling your narrative. So like, if I can because especially like younger generation, they're very impressionable. So if they stumble on my page, they're gonna be like, "Dang, like I always wanted to be maybe in podcasting," and they might like either my page or your page and be like, "Dang, he's really doing the podcast." You see your stuff like, so it is obtainable. It is doing. It's almost like going back to Obama winning the presidency. It wasn't so much that it was a black person that won the presidency, as much was the fact also that it was achievable, because like especially black or brown, you just grow up like that's not possible. You know what I mean? Right. You could be anything you want to do except president or whatever. It's just like no way they're gonna vote for us. You know what I mean? And like, oh snap, that's doable. So when they see somebody like, representation is everything. So when they see somebody like in that space, like you, like, damn, this dude's like, I'm pretty good, I want to do podcasts, and he's doing it. He's like, getting all these like, so you mean I could do that? You know what I mean? I don't have to like do like whatever. So I could actually chase this dream. So like just showing that it's possible, and also like people that I'm showing a platform in every different type of industry. So when somebody sees them, like, dang, this dude's a black dude who's like a chef who cooks for these celebrities. I want to do that too.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I totally agree. I think we're going to eventually meet again, right?
For sure.
We're going to meet again. Our platforms are both going to be even higher than what they are. Well, mine's is still in infancy.
Speaking into existence. No, there's no buts. It's
yeah. You're right. This is the reason why I love Hector. You hear me? We're going to mark this down. We're going to replay this probably like a couple years from now. We're going to see how we've come to the top.
It's not if, it's when.
When. Yep, I love that. Yeah, it's the positive thinking. Yeah. How can people connect with you, Water Ice, and everything that you guys got going on?
I mean, if you want to keep up with our content, our main page, we have waterice.com. It's wwooderice.com. Our socials, water_ice on IG. Water Ice on TikTok, Water Ice 215 on Twitter, and just just reach out, like, drop a comment. I mean, it takes $0 for support. Just like, comment, share.
Yeah, I agree. You don't just watch. At least share, at least like. On Instagram, there's a lot of watches. There's a lot of ghost followers.
Yeah, so it's just I mean, also just like support. Like, my man right here, support platforms like that are coming up. It's not about competition, about collaboration and supporting. I mean, there's enough space and for everybody to eat. I mean, like, you might see a Wendy's, McDonald's, KFC. They're all on the same block and they're all eating good. They're all like making money. It's not about trying to box people out. I mean, that's another thing too. Is like what we've seen a lot of like companies come and go in the industry, like doing content, stuff like that. But no one can ever say that we did like try to like stop somebody from grind or whatever. We was always supportive, cordial, everybody, like, so.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, everybody, this was an excellent interview, Hector. I wish you nothing but success, continued success.
Likewise.
I love the fact that, you're able to literally take an idea that wasn't even in existence and actually build a media empire out of it, and it continues to grow. And that just goes to show you the power of the mind and the power of having a positive mindset to do that. So congrats to you, man.
Appreciate
everything that you're doing. It's a wrap, y'all. We got planes to catch. We ain't got time for the nonsense.